Hello, everyone. Sergio here with an episode of Tunes and Discussions. Today's topic of discussion will be on taboos. Again, that's taboos, Taboos. Um, for those who do not know what a taboo is, although I'm fairly certain that everyone knows what a taboo is something that is basically frowned upon by society. Something out of the norm, something that deviates from the norm, from the social norm. And of course, we don't want to get too philosophical here and say, well, what's the norm? Or is there a baseline norm that we got to follow? Or and nowadays, like, yeah, I'm not going to get too philosophical on that. We'll just say that for today's sake, for the sake of this discussion, we'll just keep it that it's something out of the norm, and we do not want to go over it. We do not want to talk about it. We do not want to cover it. So taboos. I withdrew a list formulated by a professional, Dr. Chris Drew, who is the founder of helpfulprofessor.com. He formulated a list of popular / common American taboos. And again, American taboos, because I'm sure that there's taboos that are, well, I'm sure that every other nationality or every other culture has different views on certain things, and as a result there's different taboos. And so for the sake of this discussion, we're going to be covering the ones that are most common here in America. Okay, so and of course, as part of the discussion, we'll go ahead and play some music, and we'll start off the discussion with some Eve Tumor. That is Kerosene.
This game.
And yeah, that's not it, but go ahead and play after the ad. Whoop. So yeah. Okay, so first topic of this or the first subtopic of this discussion will be asking women about their age. Now, it'd be great if people who view this video would go ahead and comment on the comment section and provide your opinions and inputs or whatever it is you think. If you find this video any helpful, if you find it helpful, or if you found it informative, entertaining, boring, disgusting, ugly, whatever you want to call it, you can go ahead and put your comments in the description. It does not matter. And so yeah, asking women about their age, it's seen as a taboo in American culture. I can see where that comes from. I can see the relevance of it. I in my case, because I grew up in a matriarchal environment, right? It's highly frowned upon. You know, you just don't ask your mom, your aunt, or your grandmother, oh, how old are you? How old are you? Or how old are you supposed to be? Or what's your age? Or whatever. You don't. Even if it's just in passing by, you don't do it, right? Where did this stem from exactly? When was this deemed as a bad thing, as an out of the norm thing? I am not too sure, but it's been forever, man. I can recall as a kid being told, like, you don't ask women their age, you don't ask the ladies they're not their name, their age. And so it's been around for a long time, but I can see why it's a taboo. Just like I said, just based off of the relevancy, you know, for how long it's been implanted in us, you know, like, oh, ever since we were kids, or now that we're young adults and adults into adulthood, of course, we still don't ask women their age. You know, it just seems disrespectful. I mean, maybe in a social circle environment, if you're talking to another girl and you ask her, oh, how old are you? Maybe that's more of a lenient situation, but not in a semi-formal or formal way of discussion or conversation, I would say. But yeah, asking women about their age. Feel free to share a story in the comment section of any experiences you've had with this particular taboo. If you can relate to it, drop a line. Be happy to to know what it is that you guys think about it, and who knows, maybe you don't think it's such maybe you don't think it's such a bad thing, or you have an opposing viewpoint or whatever. By all means, man, drop a line. Next up would be, this was kind of sensitive, and I can see why it's deemed taboo and why this conversation would definitely be off of the conversation market. This topic of conversation is off of the market of conversation topics. I could definitely see why this is not a good thing to talk about. Going into it, this is addiction, right? Addiction, man, addiction is never good. Anything in excess is not good. When you excessively do something, you know, it's not good at all. So, just having to talk about something so not good, I would definitely wouldn't want to be part of that conversation. Now, addiction comes in many forms, as we know. It doesn't necessarily have to be an addiction to drugs or an addiction to substances. It could be an addiction of, I don't know, of content, or the addiction of to something perhaps tangible in the sense that it reproduces some sort of, some sort of pleasure as you engage in this particular activity, or how can I explain it? Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overcomplicate the definition. I'm sorry, I don't want to overcomplicate the definition of addiction, but yeah, it's just something in excess that you do, and you definitely cannot live without it. You cannot function without it. You sacrifice a lot of your time to that. You're highly dependent on it, and so it's never right? And so such topics and such behavior is demeaning, and so to be talking about it in passing, like a passerby conversation or just on random conversation, I would say it's something very sensitive and very off topic, not off topic, but I would say very off-putting. I think that's the word I'm looking for, off-putting. So addiction, of course, is never good, and talking about it, unless if it's a support group, you have friends and peers that are trying to help you out of it or trying to understand your situation. Well, then, I guess that's the only way that you would ever communicate addiction to someone, right? But yeah, it's never a walk in the park to be talking about addiction, and so I can see why this topic made it into that list. Addiction, it's you practically wouldn't want to be too comfortable disclosing your dependency on alcohol or substances, or your addiction to gambling, or addiction to spending money, or something, or something that's much more compulsively like that. Something that's compulsive like that, it's kind of a sensitive topic. I can see why it would be, and not just to the individual that's expressing his or her addiction, but to the listener as well. Like, I feel like as a listener, you're put into a position where you do not want to say anything that'll either make the addicted, right? The addicted feel judged, or feel as if they're, I don't know, this weird human being, this weird creation, right? Like, it's a really sensitive and convoluted topic to be talking about addiction, and so definitely a taboo. And moving on, the next record we'll be playing is Cardi and Uno, and of course I'm not even gonna say the name, but for those of you who've already listened to this is This is a classic, man. So, next topic would be the next subtopic, I should say, would be, and I would say a common one, and a lot of people would agree that it is taboo in doing so, in performing this particular action, and this is not tipping the server. So there's a large percentage of people out there that work in the restaurant industry, and of course you have your back of the house people and your front of the house people. Your back of the house people are the ones that obviously they cook your food, they wash the dishes, they prep, they do everything that's in charge of the kitchen stuff, right? Cooking, cleaning, etc., prepping. Then there's your front of the house, which could be your hostess, your servers, your bartenders, right? I'm not sure if I'm missing any other elements there, but as far as I'm concerned, those are the most common three that you can find in front of the house, right? And your servers, especially your servers, are paid a very, very low hourly wage. And so how do they make money? They make money off of tips. So whenever a customer does not tip, it's, as a server, you're like, what the hell is going on, man? Like, what the fuck? Like, I just served you to the best of my ability, to the top, like, literally, I gave you top tier service, and you're not even gonna give me a buck or two. Like, what's going on here, man? And so, not tipping the server, apparently, to this list is something seen as taboo. Like, it's frowned upon. Like, it's not. It's out of the social norm. Now, there are many people out there that will defend this with very, very articulated and thorough reasons. And they might be right. They say, oh, why would I have to pay them if it's your job? And then, well, why would I have to? Of course. You got your own opinion, of course. However, you must know, right, that the only way and I say we because I was a server at one point in my life, and working as a server is not an easy task. Well, it's not. I can't say it's not an easy task, but it's not a difficult task. But it's a demanding task, right? You gotta be on top of the customer, like not be literally on top of the customers, but provide top-notch service to your customers and make them feel welcome and warm and fuzzy, and just be just provide good hospitality. Provide good hospitality. That's what it is. And so when you do that, obviously they'll tip you like, oh, well, here's $5, here's $6, or nowadays I think they'll base it on a percentage, like 15-20% of the bill, right? So you spent $100 on the bill, and they'll decide to tip you 15%. Well, here's $15 as a tip, right? So how it is that there's people, right, that don't tip. Now, according to this list, it's taboo not to do so. But again, there are those who will say, I don't need a tip, I don't have to tip. If I don't feel like it, I don't have to tip. Or they don't deserve the tip or whatever. Fair enough. And you can give a plethora of reasons as to why you wouldn't. But the main point I want to make in this is that the only reason we're able to thrive, or we're able to sustain ourselves, to survive as servers, is off the tip. On a busy night, a server can make $100, $150 on a busy night. Slow nights, $40, $30, right? In today's world, in today's economy, of course, it's average. It's average income, so it barely gets us over the bill phase, right? Oh, we got to pay the bills, we got to pay this car note, insurance, what have you. And so, we bust our asses to become the best servers that we can and get tips. And then when we do so, I feel like maybe a little $2, $3 here and there would be okay. Or maybe even more, right? Maybe I'm underballing this, but maybe a little bit more than $3. But again, for those who don't tip, no man, come on, tip, man, leave a tip. It goes out a long way. So, yeah, that's the third topic. The third subtopic. Next one. Oh, by the way, yeah, that was a good Cardi record there. Up next would be, let's see, let's do Weird Fishes by Radiohead. It's a little bit more left field, but I'm sure you guys will enjoy. Let's see. Yeah, so fourth topic, discussing sex or talking about sex. Let me make this move here real quick. I don't get interrupted up in this piece, but let's see. So yeah, talking about sex, discussing sex. Here's the thing. This is just from what I've seen and from what I've heard and from what I know. Right. Yes, of course it is taboo to talk about sex, especially if you're talking about it in great detail and in a very open manner in just a random group of people. I can see why it's taboo. And of course, because it's such an intimate act and it's such a critical part of our lives and something that's very close to us, we do not by any means necessary want to be saying, oh man, last night I did this and I did that. Slid in, slid around. Definitely not the way to go about things, especially with sex, right? So yeah, talking about sex is deemed as a taboo topic, as a taboo thing to do. However, there are now cases where you can find a group of homeboys, right? And passing by, you can just hear them talk about, man, I F'd this, and then I did that bitch, and all this, that, other. And she gave me this, and she gave me that, and say, homeboys, okay, cool. Or on the flip side of that coin, right? There's a female counterpart expressing their desires and needs and wants, right? Very openly. And to each his own. I mean, I'm not saying that oh, that's not right. You should be like, it's your deal, your thing. Go for it, man. But from looking at it from a perspective of gauging the social norm and identifying the social boundaries in today's society, yeah, I guess you could say it's definitely highly frowned upon. You do not want to talk about it, especially on the female counterpart. I'm not on the female counterpart, but on the female side. You say it's not really like or whatever, but we're different times, man. So different times represent different measures, different ideologies, different beliefs, and so I've seen it happen one too many times, man. I mean, you pop up, you get online, and you look at your feed, and there's some explicit things on there, man, and you're like, holy shit. But hey, by all means, man, do your thing, or do whatever it is that you gotta do. And so yeah, discussing sex or talking about sex formally in a formal environment, yeah, you definitely do not want to bring that up. I would say, but if it's in a social, more close environment, more intimate environment, yeah, I guess it could be something that could be talked about. And get that's what you're into, that's what floats your boat, by all means, But yeah, it is something that is deemed as taboo. And that's, like I said earlier, that's just going off of the fact that it's something very intimate and very, very close to a person's soul and a person's, I can't say identity, but to a person's beliefs, right? Like sex, yeah, it's something great, something beautiful, but it should remain, undisclosed and very private. And to end the list and to end the discussion on a more lenient and nonchalant form, our last topic would be on refusing a gift. Now, refusing a gift, according to this list, is something taboo. Now, there's a couple of ways you can look at this, but how I see it is, if it's a gift that comes from someone that is perhaps not close to you, maybe you can go ahead and deny it. You can go ahead and say, yeah, that's, thank you. You're far too kind, but no, I'm sorry. I can't take it. Maybe that's one way to look at it, right? But, however, if it's coming from someone fairly close, right, and the intent is there, the intent is clearly written in bold, and you know the individual, you guys are fairly close, and like I said, the intent is clearly outlined, then yeah, man, I mean, I feel like you should definitely take that that gift. I mean, of course, if there's strings attached, yeah, it's something that you might want to consider again. But if it's off of goodwill, and you know, if it's something that is invaluable, then take it by all means. But okay, the last record before I close off on today's note will be Manu Chao, Me Gustas Tu. For those reggae heads out there. And so, yeah, refusing a gift, something is deemed as something taboo. I would believe that many would disagree with this, but I would say it's kind of in the line between yeah it is and yeah it's not taboo. Me personally, I've never refused a gift. You know, in work environment, of course, there's people that share gifts. Oh, here, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. And you go, well, thank you. When it comes to that in the work environment, yeah, you could just, if you're being polite, yeah, you definitely might want to take it, just because you're polite. But if, for example, you receive a gift from someone whom you've randomly met, and you're not too sure what the intents are behind this person, then yeah, you definitely might not want to take that gift. Who knows, man? There could be something in there that you might not like, or it's with ill intent, of course, or there's strings attached to it, right? I know that in the professional realm, in the consultant and client firm, like in the consultant and client relationship of things, you know, it's supposed to be straight professional, and consultants are not supposed to gift clients any gifts. Like there could be instances where a firm could be like, oh, let's send out wine bottles to our clients, and we'll go ahead and send out cheeses and gift boxes to them. And, obviously, in order to maintain their business relationship and to perhaps persist the idea of maintaining business, and that's definitely frowned upon. Or to my knowledge, in the realms that in the professional realms that I've been, is definitely frowned upon. You do not take any free lunches or any free gifts or any kind of gifts from the consultant counterpart, right? Of course, there's ways of doing business, and that's one of them, and that's very popular, man. It's a very popular way of conducting business, where you go ahead and provide your clients with gifts. That's perfectly normal, but there are some realms that do not do that, and just for the sake of professionalism and consistency with business. And so, in that case, when there's policy implemented, then yeah, you have no other choice but to refuse a gift, right? But yeah, those are my 2 cents on that, and what I know about refusing a gift. And So yeah, that was a discussion on taboos. Uh, hopefully it was informative. Hopefully it was entertaining. Hopefully it instilled some sort of emotion from you guys, whether it was boredom, happiness, or shocking, whatever reaction you had to this episode, um, is perfectly okay. I guess perfectly normal. And so, I look forward to having another episode next week. And with that being said, I'll go ahead and close this episode on a good note. And of course, that was Manu Chao with Me Gustas Tu, classic reggae record from a Spanish French dude, of course. Anyways, looking forward to next week, and I'll go ahead and see what kind of topics I'll be covering next week, and be seeing you soon. Have a good one.